For sure.
Well, this was Democrats' main issue.
The world is going to end in 12 years.
The existential threat of climate.
It is the threat to every living thing, and we are running out of time.
So how come we haven't heard much about it lately from Democrats, including...
For someone who cast the deciding vote on the biggest climate bill in history.
The yeas are 50, the nays are 50. The Senate being equally divided, the vice president votes in the affirmative, and the bill, as amended, is passed.
It's not just her. Many top Democrats have stopped talking about what they once claimed was the biggest threat of our lifetimes.
The world is going to end in 12 years if we don't address climate change. And this is the war. This is our World War II.
The planet is running a fever. There are no emergency rooms for planets. We have to pass legislation.
The existential threat of climate, and the scientists tell us we have a handful of years.
We need to work on every front on climate change. It is the threat to every living thing on this planet, and we are running out of time.
Even the Washington Post has taken notice, saying the split-screen approach suggests that Democrats see talking about the environment as a lose-lose proposition. Here to discuss is Climate Depot publisher Mark Morano. Mark, it is really interesting. She cast the deciding vote on the big Green New Deal, or some call it scam, and she should be bragging about it. And no one's talking about this issue. Why? What's happened?
Shh. This is the biggest con I've seen in modern politics. I mean, Kamala Harris, 2019, was the co-sponsor of the Green New Deal, Ocasio-Cortez's original, AOC's original Green New Deal. And as you mentioned, she cast a tie-breaking vote in 2022 for Inflation Reduction Act. Climate is supposed to be the existential threat. Climate is supposed to be in crisis, an emergency. The Biden-Harris administration was talking openly. The Washington Post, Associated Press, declaring a national climate emergency. And all of a sudden, summer 2024, everything goes silent. And why is that? Because according to the Washington Post, the New York Times, they have found in focus groups, they have found in the polling, they have found this across the board that there's just no concern over climate change in America. It's dropped even in these polls by the mainstream media. Out of top 20 issues, it's not even in the top half. And so what's happened is they've just moved on, and they're framing it now, according to the New York Times, as an issue of freedom. Climate solutions will bring freedom. This is after they talked about banning gas-powered cars, restricting meat eating, gas stoves, thermostat control, CNN promoting travel passports. But now they've just gone silent on this existential threat of the 21st century. We're being conned.
Oh, no question about it. So is this a message then to the Trump campaign? Hey, talk about what they did on climate change.
Yes. Yes, this is a huge opening. It's time that they need to ridicule what Kamala Harris has said and done. Remember, she was the one that said climate, the root causes of immigration on the southern border was climate change.
Yes.
And she actually went down to investigate. They can't let her get away with this. Tim Walz, by the way, is the exact same way, her vice presidential pick. He was actually going back a decade trying the same tactic. He told Minnesotans to support Obama's climate bills because it would, quote, we would all be rich from it. They're all emphasizing this fake government-supported green jobs, so-called, and they're getting labor unions involved. And the idea is we're going to subsidize through trillions of dollars. Remember, the Inflation Reduction Act was only a couple $100 billion, but now the latest are, without congressional authorization, over $1 trillion and rising. So this money is being pumped in. Yeah. That's how they're trying to sell it, as some kind of cash scam for people to get rich off of. No longer do we face the tipping point, 12 years, existential threat. They know the public's not buying that scientific claptrap.
Yeah, and hopefully the voters are connecting the fact that they are attacking American energy and oil and gas, and that's actually what's driving up prices. Really fast before we go, when did AOC say that the world was going to, or we were going to get flooded, or Miami was going to be underwater in 12 years? How many years ago was that, Mark?
That was 2018 during her campaign, so that would put us at 2030 as that deadline. And the clock is ticking, but usually when it expires, they cross out and put a new date.
Yeah, tick-tock, tick-tock. Thank you, Mark. So great to have you on. All right.
Thank you, Rachel. Appreciate it.
You got it. School bus shortage. Over 100 Massachusetts students won't have a ride to school this September as the state adds buses for migrants. We talked to an outrage.
They won't have bus service due to a shortage. This comes as the state started paying for buses for migrant students whose families recently moved into their community. So joining us now is Ashley Francois, a mom of 3 from that school district. Ashley, this is quite the story, and it's one that impacts you personally, I understand. You have, is it 3 children, and all of whom now will have to figure out a way to get to school?
1 out of my 3 children have a bus for the school year because she's in elementary. The other 2 are middle school and high school, and that's where they stop buses for these kids.
I see one of them right there. I see one of the kids right there. That's make your way in. It's fine. And I understand, but not only do you have to figure this out for 2 kids, let's just talk about your personal situation a little bit. I know that all of your kids are on IEPs. You live 3 miles from the school, and you yourself don't have the capability of driving them to school.
So I've had quite a fun experience here in Stoughton. 3 years ago, the Stoughton police suspended my license indefinitely for medical fraud. And upon that, I had many issues getting my kids to school. So as of February of 23, the school system actually filed educational neglect on me. One of my children on the IEP has school refusal, and that's one of the kids not allowed on the bus or taken off the bus. So they just basically fed right into exactly what this child wanted, and that's not to be at school. So now you've made it absolutely impossible for me to get him there to access the curriculum, access the services that you are specializing for him. So if he's not getting to school to get these services, then the kids aren't going to be able to access any type of curriculum from the Stoughton Public Schools if there's no way to get them there.
And I think you may have said this, but you have some medical issues that's kept you from maintaining a license. So you're really in a situation here. You need the buses. And this is coming as this is happening at the same time in Massachusetts. Your migrant population over the last 4 years has grown exponentially since 2021. 355,000 living in Massachusetts, 50,000 new arrivals, 10,000 children. Again, these are all migrant children. And from what I understand as well, that Ashley, there's bus service set up for these illegal immigrants. So you're losing bus service. They're gaining bus service?
Yep, and Stoughton says that it's government agencies paying for these extra buses for the outside families.
How does that make you feel?
I kind of feel torn at this because, one, and I'm going based on my knowledge off of the IEP services, children on IEPs are receiving state and federal funding to receive these services outside of already a budget given to the students in the school. Along with that, Stoughton Public Schools has made it a priority to have parents sign health insurance waivers for them now to go and get funding from their health insurance. They're getting 3 different funding for children specialized on IEPs. Why can't they get a bus? And on top of that, children on IEPs, if a child already, regular student, no IEP, gets a bus slot, a child with an IEP, if they do not qualify for specialized transportation, automatically get a bus on that slot, on that bus as well. So I was that parent that would be going into schools advocating for parents to get their children's services. I was here in Stoughton doing that for my 3 kids. And I just don't understand.
Last question. What are you going to do?
I'm probably going to keep them home because it narrows it down to the fact that I can't work, I can't drive. So that means my income is an extremely budgeted income. And there's 4 of us. Right. So am I supposed to pay between 4 to 6 Ubers a day for the entirety of the school year to get my children to school and then question how I'm going to pay for my home, the electricity, the food they need to eat, the clothes, school supplies, because we get probably 2 pages of list of school supplies for each grade. It's not just a Stoughton Public School standardized list. Students need this. Each grade has specific things they need.
And this while resources are going to, a finite number of resources. They can only go so many places, and resources going to illegal immigrants that could be going to people in need like yourself. By the way, the Stoughton superintendent did give us this statement. He said, when we complete the process for no-fee busing, we received 162 more requests this year. We could not have anticipated such an increase. To that end, we provide busing as of Friday for all K through 6 students within our policy. That addresses your elementary school student, Ashley. We are addressing this issue this coming week. Should be close to getting 100% getting transportation. We'll know more after Tuesday. So we wish you the best of luck on Tuesday.